Hello everybody, welcome back to our guide on the Rimworld of Magic. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Wanderer class. The Wanderer is a unique class in Rimworld of Magic, as all you need to be able to become a Wanderer is to find a gem of Arcane Insight. You see, what's normally needed to gain a class in Rimworld of Magic is to have a character who doesn't have the physically adept or magically gifted trait. That character then needs to locate a gem of Arcane Insight or a gem of Physical Insight to gain magically gifted or physically adept, respectively. We find our respective gem of Insight. Here we have the gem of Arcane Insight. You can right click on it and use it. This gives us the magically gifted trait. We can then use any class book or torn script of any class that uses our relative fuel type, in this case mana, by right clicking on it and hitting read. Or we can become the Wanderer class. The trait gives us the power Promote to Wanderer. This promotes the gifted pawn to being a Wanderer. We click on that, and as you can see, we now have the Wanderer class and gain a small handful of what are known as cantrips. If you're interested in what a cantrip is, I'll leave a link up in the corner to my Wayfarer video where I describe what cantrips are. But in a broad sense, a cantrip is an ability which any mage can learn. As you can see, the Wayfarer has a much more extensive list of abilities than most other mages that we've covered. That is because most of these abilities are actually accessible by any mage. Rainmaker, Blink, Teleport, Heal, Summon Minion, Transfer Mana, Siphon Mana, Spell Mending, Ignite, Magelite, Invisibility, Lightning Trap, Arcane Bolt, Blur, Mana Shield, EMP, Extinguish, Smoke Cloud, Sunlight, Arcane Power Node, Magic Cooler, Magic Heater, Dirt Devil, and Snap Freeze can all be learned by any mage, simply by finding the relative scroll. Much like the Wayfarer, the primary benefits of having a Wanderer are that they have an expanded version of any class's primary upgrades. That would be Clarity, Spirit, and Focus. You see that there are a handful of spells here that can be upgraded. These trees are all added by Cura's class add-ons. As such, we won't be going into them right now. The Wanderer acts as a jack of all trades, with not just access to, but strong implementation of many cantrip spells. The first spell we're going to look at is Rainmaker. This alters the conditions of the atmosphere, causing it to rain. If it's already raining, the rain will then be stopped. So, we click on the Rainmaker ability. As you see, it casts, but it hasn't yet begun to rain. This is because the rain effect takes a couple of seconds to actually kick off. But, as you can see with us speaking, here comes the rain. This is a pretty effective ability when you're dealing with massive fires outdoors, as well as fighting boom rats and boomalopes. This can also be effective when combating lightning and fire mages, as it contains some of the variable threat that those characters can enact. Blink is the next ability we'll look at, and will be very familiar to anyone who's been watching the series for a very long time, as this is one of the abilities of the character the Arcanist. This ability allows us to teleport a short distance instantly. One of the most useful things about Blink is that you do not even need to see the target location, so we can teleport straight through this mountain. As well, Blink is a right-click ability. That means that when you have enough mana, as defined in your settings under the Arcane Cast Threshold dial, the character will automatically implement this ability. Teleport is a second ability that's commonly only used by the Arcanist. This is a mass teleportation spell that creates a temporary method for long-form transit. What teleport actually does is creates a drop pod and delivery system. If you're interested in what teleport does, you can check out the Arcanist video, which I will leave up in the corner there. The Wanderer also gets access to the spell Heal. This is a low-powered healing ability that can restore 8 health for up to 3 wounds. This is a right-click ability. When it's right-click, if the character passes any character who has a wound, they'll activate the spell automatically. This will be familiar to anybody who's seen the Paladin class video, which I will also leave in the cards. Summon Minions, will also be familiar to anyone who's seen the Summoner video. This summons an assistant to help with daily tasks. Minions will haul as well as clean your base. It's genuinely a very useful ability and actually one of my favorites in the game. So yeah, anybody who's seen my previous videos will be familiar with Rainmaker, Blink, Teleport, Heal, and Summon Minion. The cantrips, which don't belong to other classes, include spells such as Transfer Mana. This allows you to transfer magical energy from one caster to another. Recipients that are not magic users will receive significant buffs, though they are somewhat random. This can be harmful and even lethal over time. This is also complemented by the ability Siphon Mana, where we can drain mana from other people. So, if we call in our Tiefling Wanderer friend, we will be able to see that we can use Siphon Mana. This costs 10 mana to cast. As we can see, they have 80 mana left, so we cast Siphon Mana on them. We go from 75 to 88, but this ability says that it costs 10 mana, which means we gained 23 mana, but we've drained a significant amount of mana from her mana pool. That was 64 mana there. And if we transfer mana to our friend, we can see it costs 30 mana to do so. We go down to 58 mana, and she's up to 31. The initial exchange rates on transfer and Siphon Mana are not favorable for allies. Siphon Mana should exclusively be used as a hostile spell. The next ability we're looking at is Spell Mending. Casts an enchantment upon a person that slowly reconstructs their equipment at a molecular level. Spell Mending requires that the equipment be worn in order to extract memories from the wearer to perform the reconstruction. This places a physical strain on the affected pawn and will slow their physical activities. As we can see, we have our friend Ecstasy here, with his perfectly normal and average, legendary wolfskin archmage robes. Perfectly normal, perfectly average. If we go ahead and cast Spell Mending on him, we'll see that they gain the active Spell Mending buff. This will decrease their manipulation and movement, increase their hunger rate, and increase their tiredness rate. But we can also see that over time, this is recovering the condition of their clothing. I'm sure our beloved archmage will appreciate the gift of finer clothes. Now that Ecstasy is wandering around with his new clothes, let's move on to our next spell, Dirt Devil. This creates a much more specialized version of the minion, a small vacuum of air that seeks out and vaporizes dust, dirt, and debris. This will clean any room. And let me tell you guys, I love this spell so much. So, as we can see, there is a small tornado that actively goes around and seeks to pick up dirt and dust. It just sort of randomly wanders around and will clean any tile it passes through. I shouldn't need to tell you, but for places like a kitchen, a hospital, and a science lab, this is a pretty amazing spell. It has a 180-second cooldown, but costs just a little bit less than Summon Minion. With that movement speed and its abilities to move through walls, it's a fairly useful ability. The next ability I'd like to look at is Smoke Cloud. This draws in and ignites water and dirt particles into the air to create a smoke screen to temporarily conceal the area. This acts as a smoke pop belt, I believe they're called. It has a very small cost, and we're just going to cast it on ourselves. As you can see, we now have smoke. This will decrease the accuracy of any shots fired into the area, and I believe out of it. EMP generates a burst of electromagnetic radiation at the target site, disabling mechanoids for a short period of time. This is a short AoE stun. Mana Shield activates a protective barrier that draws on the caster's mana. It absorbs damage at a rate of 1 damage for 1 mana. The barrier breaks when the caster has no more mana to absorb an attack. It can indeed be used in conjunction with a shield belt, does not impede spellcasting of any type. So this just acts as a personal shield around the caster. It's frankly a relatively useful ability. I'm not certain on its efficaciousness, but yeah, I guess if you need your mage to be a bit more tanky, that's pretty good. Blur provides you with a 20% chance to avoid all attacks by distorting the light around you. This requires 20 mana to sustain and reduces mana regeneration by 10%. You can reactivate it to deactivate it. As you can see, activating it gives us the blur effect. And yeah, this is a genuinely useful ability, similar to the Chronomancer's prediction ability. Being able to outright ignore 20% of all damage, or all damage 20% of the time, as it were, is, I mean, that's pretty insanely useful. Arcane Bolt is a small AoE. That's just, I mean, it is what it says it is. It's like a small fireball. Bam. As you can see, small explosion, pretty neat. We've seen the lightning trap spell before. Oh, it was the lightning mage. Actually, no, this was the neat trap, wasn't it? Yeah, this was the neat one. This was the one that did like a lot of damage to our enemy. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Invisibility turns the user invisible for 20 seconds. Any interaction will immediately break this spell, so things like deconstruction will cause you to become visible again. Magelite creates a small orb of light around the user. This effectively just makes it so that they can get normal work speeds, so that they're not getting the penalties from darkness to their mood either. This requires an upkeep of 10 mana and 5% mana regeneration. I'm not 100% sure this is actually worth it, but it is very cute to have. It grants a 20% vision bonus only the caster benefits from. I don't know what benefits there are to that, but okay. Yeah, it's just a neat little ability to have active. Ignite does exactly what it says on the box. We just target it right over here, and in a small AoE, you can see the forest is now on fire. Let's use... Hold on, can we put this out in time? Yeah, extinguish spell coming in clutch. The next handful of spells actually require a small base to be set up in order to be displayed as effectively as possible, so give me just a moment. The first ability I want to show off is Snap Freeze. This genuinely is my disappointment with the Ice Mage come home to roost. Snap Freeze removes all heat at a focus point, causing a snap freeze of any living object. Creatures may suffer from frostbite and plant life will die. The removal of heat also drastically decreases the room temperature for any enclosed area. So as you can see, we have our Tiefling Paladin friend here with their stack of Muffalo meat in this room, which sits at about 25C. So, if we go ahead and cast Snap Freeze in this room, careful not to target ourselves with it, we can see that quickly the room goes to negative 273. Bug, get out of there. We'll let the door close behind us, and the Muffalo meat is spoiled. Our friend is suffering through hypothermia, sorry friend, and that room now sits at a nice comfy negative 200 degrees. Is that room gonna retain that heat? That cold? How long is this gonna last? We're at 21 hours right now? So at 3 a.m. it is officially back to 10C. Snap Freeze, okay, like I was just saying, this is my disappointment, the Ice Mage. If you guys remember, in the Ice Mage video, I was talking about how I was a bit disappointed that it didn't do any of this. This is the ability I think of when I think of an Ice Mage. Okay, anyway. The next ability I want to look at is Magical Heater. Magical Heater creates a dimensional pocket that lapses into the plane of fire, generating constant heat in a confined area. The heat must be sustained by the mage, reducing max mana by 25. So we activate Magic Heat, and look at that, we got a nice little fire going in here, and it's slowly turning up the heat of the room itself. This is not just a magic fire, though. This is a magic campfire, at which we can cremate corpses, burn drugs, apparel, and cook simple meals. If you have the fishing mod, this will also allow you to cook fish. In order to dismiss it, you need to use Dismiss Magic Heater, and as you can see, it goes away. And we need to open the door in order to let all that heat out and get back to normal temperatures. Well, we could do that, or we could activate its antithesis ability, Magic Cooler, which does the equal and opposite. Instead of creating a magic heater, this now creates a magical source of cold that will attempt to keep the room at around negative 5C, as you can see just a couple of hours later. This is a fantastic spell that is essential to the running of any colony. Using magic heater where necessary and magic cooler where necessary allows you to set up a very effective base, effectively off the personality of one man. It's such a fun, entertaining, and frankly, in my mind, insane spell, allowing you to build a base off of the back of one of your mages. One of the things to keep in mind, though, is that this is 25 active mana, so it takes about a quarter of his entire mana stack in order to keep one freezer running, much less a larger freezer or multiple freezers at once. And if you think that's a problem, our next spell, Arcane Power Node. Arcane Power Node creates an energy node that slowly releases arcane energy in the form of electricity, can be used as a power source. The power node must be sustained by the mage. Reduces max mana by 25 and mana regen by 25%. Oh boy, I love this spell. So, each instance of an arcane power node generates 600 watts of power. For reference, a wood fire generator generates 1000 watts of power, where a chem fuel generator generates the same. Both of these generators put off a small amount of heat as they burn fuel. The arcane power node does not put off any heat and generates about half the electricity. This can be used as a standard form of electricity throughout your entire base, using, of course, standard circuits, as anyone would. "600 watts of power can generate power for up to 4 autocannon turrets. So remember that the summoner can use 1 defensive pylon for the same, but with enough creativity, time, and energy, any wizard can sustain 4 auto turrets. That's right. The fucking summoner has nothing on me and my 4 auto turrets. Of course, just about everybody knows that one of the problems that you have is that eventually you'll get driven indoors and not be able to grow food anymore. Luckily, we have an answer to that. We don't have to draw electricity for everything we need. We can instead use our magic. Sunlight essentially generates a sun lamp for us. For reference, a sun lamp takes 2,600 watts of power, which would be the equivalent of 5 arcane nodes. So, we could dedicate every one of our arcane nodes to running a single sun lamp, or we can use sunlight, which reduces our max mana by 40 and mana regeneration by 40%. This is a really useful ability. Yeah, you can farm indoors here if you've got your hydroponic basins up and running, or if you're working, of course, with other mages. And remember that this is an ability that can be used by any mage as long as you make the sunlight spell. Actually getting these basins to run is a fucking nightmare though. Oh wait, no, we can get half of them to run. Hold on. We can get a few of these to go. Let's go! This is what 600 power gets you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 basins. So we now have 8 hydroponic basins indoor with their own sun. This is fantastic. We are now safe forever. Nothing will ever threaten us in our beautiful base here. So, upgrades for the Wanderer are Experimentation, which increases the power of abilities and ability resistance by 1 and 2% per level. Prodigy decreases the ability cost by 1% and increases XP gain by 2%. And Expanded Mind decreases ability cooldown, increases mana regen, decreases ability cooldown by 1%, increases mana regen by 1%, and increases max mana by 2%. Cantrip Efficiency decreases the max MP upkeep cost by 3% per level, and energy regen penalties by 3% per level, while Cantrip Power and Versatility diversify our powers. Power at level 1, Smoke Cloud causes blindness. Level 2, Arcane Bolt, minimum burst count increases by 2. At level 3, Dirt Devil moves faster. At 4, Extinguish causes damage to elementals and high damage to demons. At level 5, Teleport, Heal, and Summon Minion gain power level 1 class improvements. At level 6, Transfer Mana and Siphon Mana both apply buffs and debuffs respectively. At level 7, Arcane Bolt, minimum burst count increases to 3. Level 8, Spell Mending increases the repair speed by 25%. Level 9, Lightning Trap triggers effects last longer and create a sheet of snow. Level 10, Teleport, Heal, and Summon Minion gain level 2 power improvement. At level 11, Arcane Heaters become turrets and spit fire at enemies. At level 12, Arcane Cooler slows the movement of nearby enemies. Level 13, Power Node shocks nearby enemies. Level 14, Rain causes violent thunderstorms instead of rain, where lightning strikes focus on enemies. And level 15 gives max power improvements to Teleport, Heal, and Summon Minion. Versatility, at level 1, Blink stuns enemies around the targeted area. Level 2, Smoke Cloud expands by 2 cells. Level 3, increases the efficiency of Mana Shield by 25%. Level 4, Dirt Devil lasts longer. Level 5, Teleport, Heal, and Summon gain versatility class improvements. Level 6, Arcane Cooler, Heater, and Power Node apply minor buffs to allies. At level 7, increases the efficiency of Mana Shield by 40%. Level 8, Spell Mending doesn't apply a debuff on targets anymore. Level 9, Arcane Cooler, Heater, and Power Node apply even greater buffs. Level 10, Teleport, Heal, and Summon Minion gain versatility level 2 class improvements. Level 11, Blur Evasion chances increase from 20 to 30. Level 12, Invisibility has a 25% duration increase and applies a self-heal when activated. Level 13, Magelite will fire a lightning bolt at enemies within 24 cells every 7 to 13 seconds. Level 14, EMP has a 40% chance to attempt to sabotage robots and mechanoids. And level 15, Teleport, Heal, and Summon Minion gain versatility. Level 3, class improvements. So once again, I went rattling off just the sort of numbers thing there, and now it's important to contextualize the Wanderer. Much like our Wayfarer friend, the Wanderer allows us to focus, instead of on unique class abilities, on specifically cantrips, as well as diversifying how they function. Cantrip versatility and power allows us to gain neat secondary effects. I, for one, though, don't see them as being particularly valuable. Getting cantrip versatility up to level 8 can be a lot of fun, giving you nifty buff abilities from your heaters and coolers, allowing your Dirt Devil to last longer, and no longer applying debuffs when mending. Blink stunning enemies I think is really good for a combat opener, though I wouldn't be charging my mages in to primary combat. Cantrip power might be a bit more useful if you're ending up in a lot of combats, but I'm a colony builder sort, you see. So the one that really speaks to me here is cantrip efficiency and prodigy. Well, this series is quickly approaching its end, taking a look at the Rimworld of Magic classes, and I've had a lot of fun. The Wanderer is genuinely my favorite class, if only because cantrips contain my favorite spells. I like to focus on base building, and that's exactly what this lets me do. And if you're interested in building your base using Rimworld of Magic, I'll leave a link to it and Curious Class add-ons in the description, because I use both. If you're interested in talking about magic and video games, Rimworld of Magic, Rimworld, and modding in general, you should join us over on the Discord. As well, you can catch me 3 nights a week, where I stream over on Twitch anywhere between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. I'll also leave a link to that in the description. But in the meantime, just remember, nobody cares. Thank you very much and goodbye. Oh, wrong spell. Wrong spell. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Oh dear God, that's not fine. That is so far from fine. Yeah, just freeze the freaking crabs.